Welcome to Psychology the Daf. We are in Gemara Eruvin, Daf Yud Ches, and this Gemara talks about a medrash that learns from the word Vayivan Hashem Elokim es tzela, that Hashem created Chava from the side of man, or from the, some people translate it as rib, but whatever the case may be, that Hashem created Chava that way, and the lashon is Vayiven, and Vayiven could also mean like to build or develop. And so this particular Gemara says Malamed Shekil HaKadosh Baruch Hu L'Chava V'Via L'Adam Harishon, that Hashem basically braided Chava's hair, made her all beautiful, and brought her to Adam Harishon. And the Koheles Rabbah is Mareh on this and describes this in greater detail in Koheles Rabbah Zayin Beis, in saying that Hashem was essentially the best man at Adam and Chava's wedding, and prepared and beautified Chava's hair. The Ben Yoyada in Gemara Shabbos on Tzadei Hey and Mat Aleph, he asks an interesting question. He asks, and man was taught things too that he needed to do, like he was taught to make fire. Hashem put within man the spirit and the ability to know how to make fire, and so he made fire. Why did Hashem not put within Chava the ability to learn how to braid her hair, and that she would braid her own hair? And we'll go into the Ben Yoyada's answer in a moment, but leaving alone Ben Yoyada's answer, to me, the obvious point is that there is something about, the differences between men and women, and the difference in the role, and that there's something more significant in a woman being presented to her groom at the wedding, all beautified, and Hashem was doing that, not that she should have to prepare it herself. I think a Kala wants to be made beautiful and wants people to take care of her, that she should be beautiful, and that helps her become more beautiful to her husband, that she needs the support and the help of the family and the love of the family, while men may be more independent in that way and a bit more aggressive in that way. For man to make a fire, Hashem needs to put within him the wisdom to make a fire, but he doesn't need the love and the support to make the fire. That's what occurs to me. Of course, there are all kinds of gender stereotypical things that one could challenge today, which we'll also get to in a bit. But Ben Yoyada says something. He says that the reason why Hashem, so to speak, created Chava already with her hair braided and beautified, as opposed to having her do it, is he wanted to emphasize the importance and the foundational quality of it. Just like you wouldn't create a man missing a finger, Hashem didn't want to create her incomplete and missing this quality. So he's saying, again, something along gender lines, that there's something fundamental about a woman looking beautiful, and there's something particularly fundamental about her hair, that her hair is the crown, her hair should be very beautiful, and Hashem took the time to be the best man, and to actually, in a sense, also be the father of the bride and beautify Chava. Now, of course, just because some things are said in one gender over another doesn't mean that the ultimate truth of human nature doesn't apply across the board. So, for example, women are more stereotypically nurturing than men. Men are more stereotypically aggressive than women. That doesn't mean that there isn't a place for men to be very nurturing, and it doesn't mean there isn't a place for women to be at times aggressive. We have both examples in Tanakh. There's a medrash that on Mordechai, Vayhi Omein es Hadassah, that Mordechai was the, so to speak, the adopted nursemaid of Hadassah, of Esther Amalka, and the Medrash says that he actually, her parents died very early, and in those days they didn't have Similac, and so his own breasts actually were able to suckle and breastfeed Esther by way of a miracle. By the way, you can Google it. It is a scientific phenomenon. Very rarely men can actually produce breast milk, just as a odd aside. We have Yal Echeshever Akeni, who won the war against Sisera by attacking him and killing him with the tent peg. So, people can have different gender types. Even within the stereotype, there can be different aspects. So, men also should look attractive and beautiful for their wives, no question about it. But I think that there is some truth to the gender stereotypes, as long as they're not used as a prison or a way to bully people or beat them up and force them into something that they're not really comfortable doing. But in general, I think that men and women do behave along these gender stereotypes. So I don't mean to offend anybody by saying that I think it's very significant, a woman's hair, and very significant that a woman's hair should be beautiful. Now, we can't ask questions on minhagim. We know that there are people that have minhagim that a woman's hair after she's married should be shaved. And, if a person has such a minhag, they have such a minhag. But let's put it this way. It would seem from this medrash and this Gemara that it's a very important thing, a woman's hair, and a woman to have beautiful hair. And so it's probably not a very bright chumrah for someone to take on this minhag if they haven't had this minhag. I think that's certainly fair to say. Another interesting point is there's a very common minhag, even amongst people who are very makpid on covering their hair, that the wedding night, the kala doesn't cover her hair. Perhaps this medrash is a makar for that, because Hashem presented Chava to Adam Arishon with her hair braided, and obviously it was braided, wasn't covered, because the whole point of the medrash was that she should look beautiful and attractive to Adam. Now, perhaps the answer that those that follow the minhag who shave a bride's hair will say, well, we shave her hair after the wedding night. So Hashem, we don't know what happened on the next day, aside from them eating from the Eitz Das Tov V'Ra, but we don't know what happened in terms of her hair. So you see, on the wedding night, we're doing the same thing that Hashem did with Chava. However, while sometimes you can answer something with a lumdus, and that is a good lumdus to answer, it really doesn't make any sense, because common sense is, and especially the way that Ben Yehoyada reads it, that this is emphasizing the importance of a woman's hair and the beauty that she expresses through her hair. And so why would we take that away from her the next day? That doesn't really seem like a good idea. I mean, in the Torah, we have the mitzvah of Shana Rishona for there to be a love and bond. And truthfully, just because it's a particular mitzvah in Shana Rishona doesn't mean it is in the mitzvah for the rest of your lives to have a love and bond together and to make yourselves attractive for each other. So the minhag is what it is. You can't ask kashas on minhagim, but we definitely see from this particular medrash the value and the importance of looking beautiful, in particular a woman's hair to look beautiful, and it's just what it says.